Okay, we're getting ready to install a 70-inch, or it's actually a 70 or 60-inch Samsung high definition. As you can see, this is giving us some difficulties here. It's going to be a corner wall, and the homeowner wants it up high. They've already got some of the pre-wires. They did not run the HDMI, which in itself is going to be an issue. We're going to do a floating shelf. If you can see this, we're going to add a floating shelf up here on another day. DirecTV hasn't come out and wired everything, but for future reference, if you are running it, try to make sure you have your HDMIs will run and so forth during the pre-wire stages. This is just a renovated basement. If you want to look around, the guy's really done a really good job. It's a game room. He's ex-military, but he's got everything set up really nice. He's got him in this little nook here for his kitchen, and like I said, the TV will be here. So what we've got is I've already went out and they've used an Omni mount, which they're one of the best mounts made. I've already got the back mount set up, and on previous videos, I've shown you how to do that. But here's what it looks like in the back, and then here's the mount itself that will be going up on the wall. And then when you look, that actually sits up in, that actually fits onto this little hook here. It's a little circular ring, like a O-ring basically, or C-clamp. And that in itself goes back and drops down into this, and then you lock it in place with the two screws down here. I'm getting ready now to set up where we're going to actually mount it to. These Omni mounts, they only mount onto one stud, so you want to find a good stud, hit that stud, and make sure you have the width of your TV, and that the width's going to fit in that area, so when you pull it out, it's not going to hit this other wall over here. So I'll get back with you in a second. Let's show you how we're doing it. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, we've got a 59-inch. You basically measure your width of your TV. It's 59 inches. It's 60 inches. It's 59-inch total. What you want to do is find where you're at on that. In this case, here is the TV itself. Okay, and since it is going to be a articulated TV, it'll come out and will move so much. Now again, you always got to worry about or take into consideration the back end of the one side of the TV on these mounts, since they don't have a very long extension, will eventually butt into this, and it's going to limit the turning capability of that TV. So my first thing what I'll do is I know I want to get it as close as I can to that, but it's still got to make sure it misses that floating mount, which is another thing we've got to take into consideration. Is a floating mount here. So I'm going to find my center, which in this case is 30. So right in here. Now I doubt very highly that's going to be on the actual stud, but I do know that with the Omni mount, you will be able to basically move. That's why I like the Omnis. You can move one side to the other as far as the base part of the mount, so you can cheat it over one way or the other to find that stud. And that's one thing, you've got to hit the studs. On these heavier TVs, the mounts themselves probably weigh 40 pounds. So you've got to make sure you hit the studs. There's just no other ways around that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this stuff up. I'm going to get the homeowner back down here. We're going to go over the height, what he wants height-wise. And of course, the same way I did that, I would find the height of the TV, which will be probably almost that. And so from that, I'll work off the back of my mount where it's going to bracket up to the mount, and the bracket will hook onto the actual wall mount, and make those measurements to make sure that I'm in that area. And that determines your height. So I'll show you that in a minute. We'll hook into this. Okay, this slides up, it locks in, you screw it in, bam, it's done. That being the case, I got to transfer those numbers over to this to know where to go on the wall. Like I said, I know it's going to be 18 inches to there. What I do is I find, and I usually lay it down however it's going to be on the TV, on the wall. This would be how it would be placed to the wall. This would actually come out to give you an idea. And it slides onto that jacket. This actually locks down to lock it in place. And then you have two little screws right here and here that give you adjustment there because of the weight. Sometimes we'll move it either way. So that's how that's actually going to mount. So looking at it like that, you can tell that we're looking at about 4 to 5 inches is where I got to come off this and find my marks for the wall. And that's what I'll do. So I'll show you that in a minute once we get to that. Okay, what we've got is we went ahead and centered the TV. We found out where the stud was. It actually lined up perfectly with the stud that was already there. We find it on these Omnis. It's basically 5 inches off the bottom rail, and that way you can find where you need to put your top line. I always put a level line here, which I work off of, and I take that back, it's actually off the top. It's 5 inches from the top down, and that's how you're going to find where the TV will actually be mounted. So I'll show you that in a second, and I'll get back with you then. Okay, I've already got the mount up now. This bracket basically goes in. It fits in a groove there, which earlier I'd actually put it the wrong way, so I guess nobody's perfect. And what it allows you to do, if you've got a stud that's really far off, it allows you to get movement to where you can move this over and get to the stud, and still keep that center line of your TV, because that's critical so it's not bumping into that wall. So I did want to show you that, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like once we get ready to hook up the TV. Okay, just straighten around there. Okay, as you can see, we've got it mounted. This is probably one of the hardest parts of it actually. Is you got these two little screws that actually hold the TV, and it controls your angles on this, which is a great thing. Most, I'd have to say 80% of all articulated mounts don't have that luxury, and to me it's a critical thing. But anyway, so once you get these in, then you can adjust as much as you want to. Let me go out some with it. I'm going to come on out. Okay, fully extended. Now as you can see, these are the two screws here, and it's kind of hard to get to them, so you might need a snub or something like that for it. Before I get too far into it, I just want to get them a little tight, because I'm going to then put the level on it and make sure it's level. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to level it up, and we'll show you the finished product once we get it finished, and that'll be it. But that's pretty much it in the mount. I think these are the best mounts you can probably buy, and I would highly recommend them. They're going to cost you a lot more, but you know, why mount a $4,000 TV with a $20 or $30 mount? It doesn't make any sense. So with that said, we'll show you once I'm finished with all this, getting it level. We'll show the finished product, and thanks for watching. Forcing you may knock it out of kilter. So and then when you're going out, basically, so when you're extending it, push in, and if you want to, you can get it flat against the wall. Do you want it flat against the wall?
Not flat, but put it back to that thing over there, see?
But then you're looking at you can see the...
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I mean, one thing good about these, they are, you know, you can pretty much play around with them, they don't get too bad. I mean, it's high.
So we can't get over front of the high outlet, can we?
Yeah, you could move over that one.
That's good right there. That's good there.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's good right there.
I mean, you don't want it bumping up against.
Right.
And you may, that's one thing good too, DirecTV, make sure they give you an RF.
A what?
RF remote that you don't have to actually point at it.
Okay.
Make sure that they have both. The little one, little mini.
Go.
Okay, now as you can see, we've got it mounted. I've tightened everything down in the back, and this is a one stud mount. That's another good thing about the Omni mounts is you can hit, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to hit those studs. This allows you to find one solid stud, put all the weight into that, and you're good to go. And the other thing I like about it is the movability. They're very easy to move. The cheaper mounts, under $100, man, it's a tough moving them back, moving them forward. And when you're doing that, you're also knocking off killer, you're loosening the back of the mount, you're loosening the brackets. So again, I highly recommend an Omni mount, or a Sanus mount is another good one. Sanus is another top line mount. Either one of those two mounts, even though they're more expensive, they are far more better in the long run. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the smart TV for them. We'll show it right before we finish when it's all cleaned up so you can see what it looks like and get a good idea of what the finished product is.